Good evening and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. It is Monday night all over again. And tonight our special guest is author Ms. Penny Diva, award-winning poet and novelist in 2021 by Pink Flamingo Publications. Thank you, Penny, for being here this evening with us from Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation is sponsored by Eilish Diamonds LLC, brought to you by Milton McCulloch, author of Love and Emancipation, L.D. Robinson, owner and operator of Ladero Press, and a Dante production. In celebration of Black History Month and the history of jazz, the Chris Clark Trio will be performing at the Moonlit Beach Performing Arts Center on February 26th. More details about that at the end of the show. And the Fresh Book Festival is putting together a children's book festival in June. More information as that develops. Dealing with children these days is a little bit difficult. Mask, how many? So we're trying to really put that together. And if you have any questions for Penny, please leave them in the chat room. As I said before, this is being recorded. So good evening, Penny. Please take a moment and tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I am Miss Penny Diva, award-winning author of urban erotica, romance, and poetry. I'm also a transformational life and business relationship consultant. I'm originally from Saginaw, Michigan. I reside here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I have 3 amazing daughters and 2 awesome grandsons.
3 amazing daughters. How lucky were you to have 3 girls? I bet your closet was invaded all the time.
Still is.
Your closet and your drawer. I know I invaded my mother. My poor, God rest her soul, but she never got any peace. If she bought something, everybody wore it. Yeah, that's just the way it was. So thank you for introducing yourself. So the award-winning short story, Moonlit Beach, was incredible. I enjoyed reading it. Give us background on the characters and if you were looking for those characters to transition into a novel.
Actually, Moonlit Beach was actually inspired at a family reunion, to be honest. We had a family reunion at a park in Mississippi. And as it got late in the evening, it was just the moon was rising and the sun was setting. And as the sun was setting over the lake, I was like, I had walked around and kind of got away from family for a minute, and it just came up into, I just started thinking about what if this was actual beach with a moon instead of the sun setting. And when I got back to another spot where I was actually alone, it just turned into a story.
So it was award-winning, right? And that was with the Pink Flamingo Publications, right? And so did they ask you whether you were going to expand that?
Actually, no, they have this online submission company that they have, and every month or actually it's really every week, authors can go in and look at the topics and look at the different categories that they have. And if you feel like writing it for whatever category they have for that week, you can just submit it, and if they pick your story, they'll publish it.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah,
so it's a short story every week?
It's a different short story every week. It's in the adult section for the erotica, and every week they have different sections. They have different categories. And that particular category was it was
showing
public,
yourself.
Yeah, it was in public. Yeah, public display. That word always gets me.
I got 2 or 3 that I just don't say because I know I'm gonna mess them up. But public display of affection.
Yes, and that particular week I was like, well, I'm at a park.
Right, exactly. So everybody who's an author online tonight, take note of that. It is the Pink Flamingo Publication.
Yes, and if you have more questions or want the actual the website, inbox me, Miss Penny Diva Washington on Facebook, and I will be happy to give you more information.
Okay, so you wrote Ratchet, and I'm going to switch the questions really quickly. Back in 2015?
Yes, I wrote
Okay.
Ratchets Don't Get No Love back in 2015.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How did you think long and hard before you decided to write erotica romance? Oh,
yeah. Actually, I thought I always wrote back in college. I wrote in college for this little store publications that used to come out for the at the grocery stores called Black what was it, Black Essence Romance or something like that?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you used to could get the little magazines at the grocery store. So back in college, I used to write for them. Then I don't know what happened. Life happens, and I just stopped. Well, back in 2012, Zane, the author Zane, had a collaboration contest, and I was like, well, let me look at the requirements. So the requirements at first, when I first picked it up and I read the requirements, and I said, nope, not gonna do it. You can't tell me how to write. I put it down because it was me being selfish. It was like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm gonna write how I want.
Right.
Well, 2 hours or so went by, and I said, well, let me look at this again. So I went back and I looked at it again, and this time it said Zane. And I said, oh, well, I didn't see her name at first. She can definitely tell me what to do.
Right, exactly. Absolutely can tell you what to do.
I'm like, what's the requirements again and how she wants to do
it? How many spaces does she want in between? I know that's right.
So I entered the contest for that, and it was, you had to write by an outline. Now, there was also a challenge and a very, very, very great learning experience for me, because it showed me exactly the different styles of writing, how a lot of companies may tell you to write differently and they might want certain things written certain ways. So it was a great experience, and I won that contest as well.
So after that, that's when you decided.
So after that, I decided, okay, I'm getting good at this and I'm getting better. I'm gonna start writing. Let me go on and write this novel, Ratchets Don't Get No Love.
So tell us about that process. Now that we know how you developed your idea of writing erotica, tell us about Ratchet. Because listen, Zane is and still the queen of erotica, right?
Yes,
she is, as far as African-American females are concerned. And so anybody coming after her, that's the first thing somebody says to you. Oh, so you're writing like Zane? Well, no, not quite, because we're two different writers. But so when ratchets, first of all, is a word that just kind of hits you in the face. How is it that you developed that particular story? And calling somebody ratchet from the gate.
Boosie. The rapper
Boosie, right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And then, Shreveport is when Boosie came out, he came out with Ratchets. Then we had a couple of other local rappers here that started calling Ratchet City Ratchet. Then I had to interview them to find out, what is your definition of a ratchet? And when they told me their definition of a ratchet, I was like, well, okay, so ratchets don't get no love. I said, but actually, if you look at it, they get all the love, but then I had to go and research some more. It's like, no, ratchets get sex, they don't get love. So you have to develop, so as women, you have to define what your definition of yourself will be and how you perceive yourself.
So in that learning curve that you got from doing that exercise with Zane, did you write ratchets in an outline, in chapters?
I did it in chapters. I also did it somewhat of outline, But Ratchet's really was more based on conversations with friends, family, co-workers, a lot of people I knew. It was basically discussions, and then I turned it into a story.
So give us just a little snippet about, we know what ratchet means, but give us a little snippet about what the book is about, really, because just because it says ratchets, there's more meat to the story than that.
Yes, it is. Ratchets Don't Get No Love is about 3 college students. They're women, 3 college women. One name is Rochelle, and Rochelle is the leader of a whole lot of chaos. Her life is chaotic. She's interesting, by the way, because not only like her best friends, Miranda and Mariah, who are twins, they're all single parents, and they're in college. Mariah and Miranda's story is a little bit different on how they became parents. They were raped by their aunt's drug dealer when they were in high school. Rochelle, on the other hand, was highly sexually active and had several boyfriends and had 2 children in high school. When she got
still went to college, yeah.
But she took her children to college with her.
Right. Good.
So in all that process of having those children in college, she had a job. She worked. She was in nursing school in college. She had a job. Due to the state budget cuts at the hospital that she was working at, they cut her hours. She was about to graduate. She only had like a semester and a half left before graduation. When she got her job, when her hours got cut, she ended up having to figure out another source of income. So she started working at a strip club. Now, mind you, she's working at the strip club, but she's not a stripper first off. She started out as a bartender.
Okay.
She could make some really great drinks. But the money was slow. Her tips wasn't what she could have made. She had a nice figure. So another lady told her, you could really make more money over here on this stage than you can behind that bar. So she thought about it. Rochelle switched positions at that club. She started dancing. Rochelle was bringing home about $2,000, $4,000 a week.
That would make me dance.
She was good. She was able to pay off all her student loans before graduation. She bought a new car, but she still wasn't happy. Out of all she had going, she still wasn't happy. She wanted love. And she was in several meaningless relationships. And eventually, you have to read the book to see if she actually found what she was looking for.
Right, exactly. And what I like about it is that the children didn't dissuade her from going on to college. And that's a real good lesson to teach any young woman. Don't let having a child stop you from, moving forward in your life. So thank you for that story. No matter how ratchet you think you are, there's somebody more ratchet than you in college, with no babies. So it's really nice to see that kind of transition. So tell me about you, self-published, that's correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
Self-publishing is difficult. It is. It's especially for my journal or writing. I mean, it's difficult because
for erotica, I write erotica, so I understand.
Yes, so it's kind of hard. I do have a publishing company, Underground South Connections.
Okay, that's what you did that because of how hard it was?
Yes, okay. Yes, because like my short stories, I can get them out. Some of my erotic poetry, I can publish it online, but it's difficult when you're trying to publish books, and you have to go up under. It's best to go up under a publishing company. Because they know the ins and outs of how to get your stuff out there for you.
Were you able to do that with Ratchets?
Yes. Underground South Connection lets
But
me
that's
have
yours. That's yours.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I
But
have the freedom to do what I want.
okay. And so how did you get to the point where you decided that having your own publication was the only way to go? Did you get rejected? Were you?
I got rejected a lot. I think my first major rejection that I felt, it was like when I wrote a story and submitted it to Zane's Publications. And they told me they didn't reject it. They said, we like the story, we love the concept, but we need you to tone it down.
Zane's people told you that? Wow.
Yes. And I was like, huh? And I guess it's because, if you read her work, she's detailed, but not so detailed.
No, she uses vagina instead of pussy. So, okay, so what? Just the same
so
thing.
It was like...
It's crazy. I don't understand why that gives so many people heartburn, the difference in that word, but go ahead.
Yeah, so it was like, tone it down. And I was like, you're going to take the meaning of the story away.
Right.
And I tried it and it didn't flow right for me. I was like, I can't do this. So I was like, I learned from that experience. And I was like, I just got to get my stuff out here a different way because I can't do this. It's taken away from the story.
Right. I mean, she goes into the description of a man's penis, it's like a carrot stick or hard like a tree trunk, as opposed to calling it exactly what it is, right? And so, Listen, I understand she wrote a long time ago and she had to be more careful, but I'm glad you decided to go in and get your own publication started. And what was the hardest part about that?
The hardest part about that process is having your work submitted and then writing. It's like, because you write for yourself, and it's sometimes it takes longer to get a story done when you don't have a specific deadline to meet. So you have to set a deadline for yourself.
All
so
the time.
Like it's your own timeline now. And it's like, okay, I really gotta just buckle down and do these and get this done.
Have you taken on other authors?
Yeah, I have worked with a couple other inspiring authors and trying to help them get started and showing them the ropes of what it took for me to get started. So I am a coach that helps other inspiring artists.
So when you decided to write Ratchets, you have 3 girls, right? And so how did that conversation go?
Actually, it was really, really interesting because at the time I had a 17-year-old. She was 17, about to be 18. And her and her friends were, they had these little teenage spots and hangouts for them at that time.
Right.
And they would come back and tell me, Mom, this what happened. We went to the spot and this girl didn't have this on. Well, she didn't have it on. So she was like, and she did that and she did this and they had sex over there in the corner. And I'm like, huh? She said, I was like, no. She said, yeah. I was like, okay. So, yeah, okay. So it was really interesting because they was like, Mama, write a book.
Oh, really? So they encouraged you. Okay.
Yes, they was like, Mama, write a book.
And so they didn't have any problem with it, any other members, like a grandmother, a mother?
Well, actually, when I wrote my grandmother, when I first started to write erotica, I was like, I can't publish this book. My grandparents, my grandfather is a preacher. And so my grandmother, who I looked up to, is the preacher's wife. And when I told her I wrote a book, the first thing she said, send me a copy. I told my grandma, I can't send you this book. Grandma say, it's just sex, everybody has it. If they didn't, you wouldn't have never been here.
Right.
So I started laughing and she said, now send me my book in the mail. I instantly sent her that book, and Grandma told me, I loved it. I'm waiting on the next one. Well, she recently passed before the next one is actually due to be published. It's supposed to, we had, COVID done set us back with that, with when enough is enough. COVID has set us back with the publication getting the cover done. So it's been taking a little longer than we expected.
So do you need a new artist for your cover? Because we could probably put you in touch with some people.
Actually, I gotta reach back out to my publisher to see where we at with that right now. I know we had finished the cover, but we just gotta see what critiques or has to be done right now.
Okay,
but
so if you run into a bump in the road, just give us a shout, and we have some people who would really come out and help you. So it's amazing how we have very and I don't know you from anything because we just met online, and might have the same experience. When my grandmother said, after she read the book and said, sounds good to me. It was fine, right? I mean, my heart was palpitating. I thought, oh my God, what is my grandmother going to say, right? And then she said something very interesting. She said, once you've delivered a baby in a cotton field, right, give that some thought. There's not a whole lot that can push my head back.
Right.
So it was like, oh, she said, this is nothing. I gave birth in the cotton field. So, you really, when she put that in perspective, I thought, well, yeah, what could really burn your head after that, after you are a young 17-year-old picking cotton and giving birth in the cotton field of Charleston, South Carolina. I don't think anything I don't think anything can really, make you go, oh, yeah. So I'm so glad we have similar stories. So you have a Facebook blog and a group.
Yes, I have a blog.
Diva Seductive Fantasies?
Yes.
Diva Seductive. Did you get any pushback from Facebook on that?
Oh, yes. I get a lot of pushback from Facebook on that. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. When I first started my blog, when I first started writing Diva Seductive Fantasies, I was writing all the time, and whatever I wrote would go through. Now, certain stories, they are pushed back. And I noticed lately that some of my older stories has been deleted. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, so now I notice some stuff I have to like look at the pictures I'm gonna post, or look at reword some of the words in there a little bit if I'm gonna publish it.
So how you don't think that the people who follow you on Facebook would follow you to your own?
They really would, and that's my next project that I'm truly working on. I am trying to get my own website. I don't know who to contact or how to get this started. That's what I'm really trying to do now.
Oh, we probably can help you with that too. So make sure you send me a note when we leave here. We have several people who do that also. She says, consider a Facebook group, but this is a group. LD.
I have two Facebook groups.
But they really are sanitizing things that you say these days, especially with this new Meta. Is that what it's called? Meta?
Yes.
Yeah. And so everybody's saying to me, listen, I'm not going to be bothered with Meta. I'm just going to do my own thing on my own website or blog page. So you might even put a feeler out there to your people that you're with and say, hey, if I left Facebook, would you consider following me, or would you subscribe to my page, and see what their feeling is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you need a website to have a blog page?
I'm not sure. I've been trying to find it out, and I'm trying to figure out how to go about doing that as well, because I would love to have either one, a website or a blog.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not sure, but Miss L.D. Robinson, who is online, probably could give us some direction on that, and she'll do it probably after we get off. So tell me,
Okay.
you decided that you didn't have enough to do, so you just started a company called Diva's Coaching and Consulting Services, and you also work with some nonprofits. So I don't listen. I think there's only 24 hours in a day, so I'm not sure how you're doing all this. But tell us about the coaching and consulting services.
Okay, so Divas Coaching and Consulting Services was originally a global business consulting. It was started back in 2005. Once I started writing under Divas under Miss Penny Diva, I changed it because then I was able to do more than just business consulting. I was able to help inspiring authors come up and help them with their book concepts and their book creations. So I was able to do more consulting than just business. So I changed the name of it and restructured the whole company. And then couple years later, last year, matter of fact, 2021, I'm a registered nurse already. So when the pandemic hit, it was like, find something else to do. You got plenty of time on your hand now. Well, you got more time because you're not really going to work. You're doing virtual work. So I was like, okay, well, I got more time now. Let me go and get this other certificate that I've been trying to get for 30 years. I wanted to be a sexuality relationship coach. Okay. So I had time to go back to school and finish that and get that. So once I got that, I was like, okay, now you can be a life coach, a sexuality coach, and still do business consulting all in one. So it just made more sense. Now I think I'm done. I don't want to do nothing else.
So being a nurse helps, the fact that you can have some credentials, so to speak, to be a sexuality coach. So tell me, are you finding that and money is the biggest problem with most relationships?
Yes, money is really the root of relationships, marriages.
Money and sexuality?
Yeah, it's money and sexuality is like one of the biggest issues in relationships right now. And I don't understand how, but it's like, well, I can't say I don't understand it.
Okay.
Right now, there's a shift in dynamics right now.
Okay.
Minority women like us right now are making a little more, not even that much more than our male counterparts. Men used to be, I gotta make more. I'ma always be the breadwinner. I'ma always make more than the female. Right. Well, now our income brackets are up to where we're making just as much as y'all, or even a little bit more, and they don't like it. They don't like it at all.
And that's a problem? Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, some men are intimidated by a woman making more money than him, and still just saying, okay, let me put it together. We build this together.
Is that just a man who has sort of a narcissistic personality, or you think that's across the board? I'm surprised, actually.
It's kind of across the board, kind of, sort of, because it's not just in over here with us; it's over there too. It's like it was always men are supposed to be the breadwinners, and they supposed to make this much and tell you what to do, or you supposed to be your helpmate, their help, and be beside them. But you can't. They didn't never want you to be above them. They want you to stay beside them, even though you have your own. They want you to have your own. It's just they don't want you to go above them.
It is another point that we as women tend not to know what to say and when to say it. So are we being more aggressive to tell them, dude, listen, I make more money than you. So, you're not going to tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. Do you find that more aggressive personality comes out in a woman when she makes more money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's what really starts the conversation.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's not that the man doesn't care. I mean, he cares about the fact that he is not making as much, but I think we as women get to be a little bit more aggressive in our personalities and our relationships when we make more money. I might be out of the box, but let me know. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That is totally true. We have this way of saying, well, you know how we say, this is my car, this is my house. Okay, well, if y'all live together, it's y'all house. If you driving the same car, it's y'all car. If both of y'all names on that title. But just because you're paying the note, then you feel it's yours. It's like, no, that's not how they go.
Yeah. So I think it's all in the way you approach your relationship, whether he's making more or you're making more. I did have a friend whose husband gave her an allowance. Right? Mm-hmm. So of course that didn't work. But but I think when you get into those kind of parameters, right? Okay, I make more than you, so you can only spend this much money or whatever. I think that's where the problems start. And are you able to do that virtually, these conversations? Are you able to have them virtually with people?
Yes.
Or is it better in person? Which is better? It seems like it would be better not in person just because they might give you more.
It's actually better in person, but with the virtual now, it's like they like to take notes. They want to take notes. They want to talk. They want you. I'll be like, okay, I like this.
Right. I think that's more freer, maybe.
Yeah, so it's good. I like the virtual. I'm like, we should have invented this a long time ago.
Well, you know what? I tell everyone that in some aspects, it hurt a lot of people.
It did.
But in some aspects, it opened the world for us as writers, as people who communicate. It certainly did for me. You know, now we have people all over the world who listen in and call in and, you know, get in touch with me. And so I just think that that's amazing. To me, that's amazing.
Yes.
That you can be talking to somebody in Nigeria, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, making a conversation. So I read in your bio that you actually write in coffee shops or by the water. That's something that I cannot do. Tell me about that process. If I've got a lot of outside slinging and slanging and people moving around, I can't write. So how do you do that?
Okay, so coffee shops is like the best place to write about because, okay, think about it. If you're in a coffee shop and you're looking for, and you're writing, and say you're writing a scene where you having a real quick date. You just met somebody and you're meeting at it and you want to figure out where you want to meet at. A coffee shop will give you plenty of thoughts because you could use this one coffee shop and come up with several different ideas. You could be sitting having a couple over here in the corner, they're eating a sandwich, or you can have another couple over here, a group of ladies over here having a little light business meeting on their lunch break. Or you can have the older couple over here just enjoying the afternoon out after an afternoon of shopping or running errands, and they grabbed a latte. So it gives you a lot of different elements in thought process of your different sceneries and different topics for whatever subject you're writing about.
Okay. And when you go to the water, what is that?
And when you go to the water, you can look at, it also does the same thing because you can look at the water and you can come up with, if you're in a spot where there's a lot of trees and you need something about some trees, some wildlife, maybe it's a boat going across the lake or something. Maybe it's people over here fishing. It's a lot of elements out there that you can get, even with the parking, wherever the parking is. If it's grassy, if it's concrete, if it's a boat launch, you can get different elements from just that one spot. And you can have a whole lot of different perspectives on whatever you're writing from one location.
Now, Louisiana is kind of an open sexual place, right? I mean, it seems to me that it doesn't have that Bible Belt mentality that a lot of places have, right? How do you think?
It actually does.
Oh, it does? Okay. So it's not as open as I think.
It's kind of open, but not like it is still conservative. But they have to, with the new laws that are changing for the LBGT community.
Yeah.
You have to, whether you want to accept it or not, they're here. They're not going nowhere, and they're out in the open now. I know, like, I have friends who would hide because you knew they were, but they wasn't open about what they were. But now it's like, okay, they open, so you already know this is what it is. So now, so you have to accept it. Now, if you want to be their friend, you be their friend. If you don't, but I'm like, that's you. Don't bother me. Matter of fact, tell me something, and I can go on and write a good story.
I can write about it. That's what I'm talking about. Give me some content. Could you give me some content, please? Yeah, because sometimes your brain it just goes.
Because I did last year. I did write because I was challenged. Well, like I said, I do an online writing for Playing Flamingo, and one of their was the LBG community. They always have openings for that, for stories over there, and I was like, So I was like, okay, I'm gonna step out my comfort zone, and I'm gonna go on and write something. I don't know what it's gonna be, right? But I'm gonna write something. Okay. It got a nice amount of views too. I was like, okay.
Do they pay you to write, or you just write for the notoriety and to get people to come?
Sometimes they do offer compensation for writing, and then some of it is just you writing just to get your name out there.
Yeah, right. I mean, I try to tell the younger writers, don't write just for compensation. Write for notoriety. Yes. Right to get your name out there, because that's most important.
It's very, very seldom they'll have something for compensation, right? Because they have a lot of people writing, and they have a lot of people writing in all these different categories on a daily basis. Somebody might write 5 or 6 stories a week. They might pick, okay, it's like, so for instance, they have like this one category angle. Somebody might write, you might get 12 people to write over there in one day. Or you might have, and then they have BDSM. So you might get 6 or 7 people to write something in BDSM.
Okay, now listen, the novelists have no idea what a BDSM is. So could you?
Bondage, submission, bondage, the domination, submission. Well, I'm missing one. Bondage, dominatrix,
submission, and I don't know what the other one is.
I gotta figure that one out myself. I used to write it down all the time, but now I just go to BDSM. Yeah. So it's like they have a lot of that, and then they have like romance, they have non-erotic. I mean, it's so many categories that they have, and they have so many people writing.
I'm going to look at it real quick because I should know that myself. But it just, I mean, when you went blank, I went blank.
What in the world? And that's so strange for me because I just want to, I won in that. I won in that category too. And well, it was my first story that I did write over.
They're just calling it BDSM. Isn't that funny? They're not telling you exactly what it is. Okay, so everybody look it up. BDSM, if you don't know what that means. But this is all under the Pink Flamingo publications. Is there other?
Actually, if you go under it's under them, but there's a subtitle.
Masochism? Okay. That means is that when you tie people up? I'm not sure. So anyway.
I think that's when you know what? I always thought it was all being tied up. Look,
Yeah.
I always
I'm
look,
just tired of
look, I'm like Rihanna, whips, chain, handcuffs,
yes.
tie me up.
Hurry up, right? Okay. So you were saying about the other publication?
It's under them, but they have like their own. It's another itinerary of it, and I can't think of the name right off. I will have to get it for you. What is
It's Pink Flamingo erotic? That's an erotic publication. Or do
actually,
they do other things? They do other things?
They do other things. They actually are not. They only have one little section that's erotic.
Okay. Okay.
They only have one little section.
It's been in the back of my mind to do an erotic book festival. I'm not sure I can do it here in this area just because of, the different feelings about erotica. So it would be nice to find a place where it was a little more open and to do a full-fledged erotica book festival. That's something I'm going to think about doing next year because I think it's important.
I would say Louisiana, but I would say New Orleans.
Oh, absolutely, New Orleans.
Yes, I would definitely say New Orleans because that would be the boat. That would be the spot.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It would be nice to have it part of the Essence Festival.
Almost definitely part of the Essence Festival. That would be great.
Yeah. Bondage, discipline, domination, and
submission.
submission. Oh,
Thank you.
How many of you came up with that?
I was missing one. I couldn't get the other one out.
Yeah, right? Oh, my goodness. So, okay, 2015. Listen, when we're ready for the next one. When's it coming? When's it coming?
The next one.
Did you give yourself a deadline?
Yeah, I actually did. I gave myself a deadline. I'm trying to get it out as soon as possible. I have like I said, it's been a couple delays, and now we're just trying to see what's the next little step. So hopefully by spring, I'm hoping to have it out by spring.
Yeah, fantastic. And so I want you to read for us Broken, if you could.
Broken. I love that poem.
I love it too. It's really
kind
nice.
of sort of. Well, what did I happen to put it?
It's in your email to me if you want to just look that up.
Oh, I thought I had it.
I know.
Oh, okay. So it's been so long ago since I actually wrote Broken. And I could have sworn I had it right here.
Do I have it?
Let me see. So Broken.
I guess I could read it if you want me to. You want me to read it for you?
Yes, please.
Then we can talk about it. Okay.
Yes, we can talk about it.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. This is Broken by Ms. Penny Diva. Your tactical lies led me to the breaking point. I'm broken, changed forever. Words speak never, tied and tethered. Not even time can put me back together. Because my mind is broken, forever broken. By your unspoken lies, heart is broken, forever broken. By your ambiguous lies, soul is broken, forever broken. By your egocentric lies, I'm broken, beyond the point of no return. Your emotional games have broken me in half. I'm broken, I live never, dead forever, inside a silenced mind, broken heart, wounded soul. I'm torn and tethered, broken forever. Broken, mind forever broken, by your unspoken lies broken, heart forever broken, by your ambiguous lies broken, soul forever broken, by your egocentric lies I'm broken, beyond the point of no return. Your unredeemable ways have torn my life apart. I'm broken, changed forever. My heart's tied and tethered to speak never. Forever broken, mind broken, forever broken, by your unspoken lies. Heartbroken, forever broken by your ambiguous lies. Soul broken, forever broken by your egocentric lies. I'm forever broken beyond the point of no return. I'm broken, changed forever. Words speak never, tied and tethered. Not even time can put me back together. Dang, lady. Where did that come from?
Broken
Tied and tethered.
Yes, tied and tethered. It's just that you know how you be in, you know how you be in a relationship and you try to make it work no matter what. You just try to stay and you try to make it work. You do everything you can. You think it's you, but you too blind to see that it's not you, that the relationship is gone. But you study trying you're trying to hold it together. After a while, you got tired, you lost yourself, and it's like, now you depressed, and it's like, what now? So when it finally was over, it finally ended, it was like, I did all this for what? I stayed in this relationship for how long? And I tried to make it work, and it still didn't work. And now I gotta find me again, because in the process of all that, I lost myself.
Yeah.
So now I gotta find me, put me back together, and like, okay, it was a process.
So this is like your Humpty Dumpty song, poem after a relationship.
Yes.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. He had a great fall, right?
Yes.
All the king's horses and all the king's men. So did that really help? Did that put you in a better place?
Yeah, once I wrote it, it was put me in a better place. I was able to refocus. I was able to actually, it was funny because I tell all my clients, I'm like, well, you know, after every storm, there's a beautiful rain.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, now I got to take my own advice. And I was like, I don't like this very well.
The coach needs a coach, right?
I'm like, wait a minute, I need a coach. Now, hold on, how I'm going to coach you and I need one now? So it was like, okay, you're going to have to start practicing what you preach now.
Right. But, you know, tied and tethered. Not even time can put me back together. I love that. That's just, and that was your award-winning poem, right? Correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Very well. It's called Broken.
It was like, when they sent me the email for that, they said, you know, with COVID, this is the way a lot of people feel right now. I was like,
It wasn't even about that, but okay.
I was like, I mean, and then I had to sit back and I had to think about it. Well, yeah, you know, a lot of people done lost their jobs. A lot of people done had to transition from going to work to staying at home. Kids at home can't go to school. I'm like, well, yeah, then relationships. It's like, I see a lot of people struggling in their relationships. Now you at home with your spouse. Y'all ain't going nowhere. You ain't never had this much time together. You used to come in. Y'all come in, see each other, eat, watch
Take
TV.
Take a shower, watch TV, go to bed.
And go to bed. Right. Now you at home stuck with this person, and it's like, oh, we got to get to know each other all over again.
Right, exactly. So you're not a poet by nature. Is this something you do all the time, or?
I like to write poetry, but I write it when I have the time to write.
Okay. Yeah.
But I try to write poetry probably maybe once a week, something poetic. Okay. But I'm a novelist. I love a good story. I write a good story. But every now and then something will come to my mind and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna write that.
Yeah, that was a wonderful poem. Thank you so much for letting me share it. So is there anything else about your journey you would like to share with us before we come to a close on this wonderful interview? I'm enjoying it.
Okay, about my journey. If it's something you desire to do, don't let fear stop you. Don't put that self-doubt in your head. Oh yeah, I done that. I done it. I promise you I did. I didn't want to get out of my comfort zone. Every now and then I still stay there. But if it's something you have a desire to do, just do it. Do like Nike saying, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
And what else? Let's see. Remember, you can always reach for the stars. Don't never set limits. You can be whatever you want to be. Just because something didn't pan out one way, don't let that deter you. Change it up a little bit and do it again.
Do it again. Right.
Every lesson every moment is a teachable moment.
Right. Every time you get to a fork in the road, it's a right or a left.
Yeah. So and even when you hit that dead end, you gonna turn around and start over. So when you get to that dead end, you just gonna turn around, bag up, turn around, and do it again.
Do it again. That is fabulous. So can you tell our audience how to get in touch with you? And
you can reach me on Facebook, Miss Penny Diva Washington, Diva Seductive Fantasies, Diva's Coaching and Consulting Services, and Diva's Life Empowerment. I'm on Instagram, Miss Penny Diva, Snapchat. I don't be on there, but I do have a page, Miss Penny Diva. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
Everyone, your mics can be opened if you like. If you have a question for Miss Penny, we can ask her now. If not, we will end.
I wanted to tell you, Miss Grant, I had one quick thing to say, real quick.
You can say whatever you want, Penny. Go ahead.
I am a member of several nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
We basically I am a AKA Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Women of Distinction, the Moortown Community Reunion Committee, and International Soul Sisters Association. These organizations, we give back to the community by feeding the homeless, helping clothe the homeless, and providing resource and information for our homeless community. Women of Distinction goes out in our community every weekend, and we feed and provide clothing that's been donated to give to them.
So you should post that on my Facebook page, so people know how to donate to your organization. You do have a website for that, or no?
Yes, they do have a website.
Okay, so put that on my Facebook page so people will know how to donate. And maybe even people in the area that don't know will get a chance to go on. I think I have several people from Louisiana on my page, and we'll know how to bring the donations to you. So yeah, please do that.
Okay.
All right, everybody, no questions? Let me see what we have in the chat.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. Wonderful conversation. Bondage, discipline, dominance, and submission. Now that we know what that is. All right, Miss Penny, thank you so much for being on Zoom and on a fresh conversation. I hope that we do get to speak again really, really soon.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You know, I have this quick commercial at the end of the show, and that is that we are having a performance by Chris Clark, classically trained at Juilliard, the Manhattan School of Music. He will be performing February 26th at the Ormond Beach Performing Arts Center here in Ormond Beach. It is jazz to the ages. It will ignite your curiosity. The tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door, and it begins at 7 p.m. You can go to ormondbeach.org to get tickets. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Ms. Diva, for being here. And I hope to talk to you again really, really soon. And good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.